Okay, am I too far over still or what? Is this good?
No, I think that's good.
Is he this difficult to work with?
Every time.
Every show?
Every time.
Dude, it's like he's never used a microphone.
Because you're picky about it, so I want to make sure it's right.
I'm not picky about it at all.
Okay.
But yeah, when you say, is this the right way to do it?
This ain't your first.
I wasn't like, is this it? Like,
No,
I wasn't
I'm like, what are you doing?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Too Much to Say. This is, as always, Eric.
This is Duncan.
And we're here with where have you been? China?
The OG.
So that's like a media trope.
I've been a field correspondent in Wuhan, China, for the last couple weeks.
I'll tell you what, you got a cough, but I think you're going to make it.
Joining us, one of the OGs of Too Much to Say, Isaac Remak himself.
Oh.
Give him a round of applause, everybody.
Yes, thank you for having me on.
There we go. After 10,000 years, you are free.
You know, it's funny. You guys are both the originators of this podcast, Too Much to Say. The deal that sort of worked out is it's difficult.
We have a deal?
Isaac's a difficult get. You know what I'm saying?
He is.
He is hard to get.
He's like Bill Murray.
Yeah.
You have to go right to him, but he kind of does
like
what he
Bill
wants
Murray.
to do. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And we are honored. We are honored to have one of the creators of Too Much to Say back on the podcast.
It is the Bill Murray of Too Much to Say.
That
Yeah.
is a humble,
Isaac. Do we need to move your mic
humble
down
honor.
because you can't see your face?
That's a
You look
humble
like
honor.
Bane from the monitor. Okay.
Is that better?
Yeah, that looks better.
Well, you lowered your chair.
No.
You
You
lowered.
do
your-
look a lot shorter.
Oh, there we
Okay,
go.
yeah.
I don't know.
Now we're talking.
When I rolled
Yeah.
when I rolled the chair in here, you lowered it down. I didn't know why you did that. I thought I wasn't going to say anything. I wasn't going
Okay,
to say.
that's much better.
That-
Okay.
This feels better.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
we're like
That's much better.
We're like three best friends.
Three. Well, Isaac and I are best friends,
Oh.
No, I
and
wouldn't go
then
that far.
we're coworkers.
No.
Duncan.
This is going to the YouTube world, right?
Yeah.
So, we're not that close.
So
Just in case one of us runs for public office at some point, we don't know each other.
Yeah, we've never.
okay, all right.
We're best friends, Duncan. Don't worry.
Well, whatever.
Come on, come here. There we go. Come on,
Dude,
Isaac.
your
Bring it
hands
in.
are so hot.
You
Are they
do
hot,
know.
really?
Why are your hands so hot?
I
You
just
know-
got back from Wuhan, and
Oh,
this is
true.
a no.
We probably shouldn't be doing this,
This
right
is
now.
a
you
no.
know?
Oh yeah. You know, so I was gonna save this for a later podcast,
Oh,
but
boy.
I figured since we're on the topic, we might as well
Oh,
mention
God.
it. What?
I have coronavirus.
Something I've got
Duncan's
to.
just
There's,
like-
there's something that I have to admit. The first step to fixing a problem is admitting you have a problem.
God, here we go. Your mom is like on the edge of her seat right now. I swear.
No. What I wanted to ask is, in the wake
How are
of
babies
this coronavirus climate that we are in, I wanted to know if there are any extra measures you guys have been taking for your own personal hygiene.
For sure. I can at least, like, one thing I've stopped doing is, like, when I'm using my phone, I used to lick my finger and then scroll by and lick my finger again.
What?
And
Are you-
now I don't do it.
Are you serious?
I
Like
don't
a book?
think. I think he's being facetious.
Did you really do that? I mean, I could see people doing that.
Well, that. You know, it's funny that you say that because that's one thing that I have done that I've done more often than I.
Should show more.
Just let's see those.
Yeah.
Let's see that.
This is too much to say.
Let's see that Teen
back
Wolf.
in the day,
Too much to show.
Back in the day, the scandals I could tell on a separate podcast about Eric
What
and his
scandal?
undershirts.
What about him?
Nothing.
What? One thing that I've done that I've done at least every few days is I take like an alcohol wipe and I wipe off my screen of my phone. That's not something
I do
that
Germex and Kleenex on my phone.
Really?
At work, yeah, all the time.
But is there anything else that you guys have been doing to sort of be
None at all.
preventative measures?
I
Still,
tweeted this yesterday. I hate shaking hands anyways.
yeah.
This is my dream.
Is it a germ thing or just a
I think it's dumb. Also, it's kind of a germ thing because like people's hands are kind of gross.
people's
for the most
hands are
part.
filthy?
Yeah.
As he touched mine earlier.
Yeah.
You
I'm
know where
okay,
mine have been
dude.
today.
I'd feel confident touching your hands.
Well, thank you. I feel confident in touching your hands also.
I just went to the bathroom. I didn't wash my hands.
God, and it was loud.
Y'all actually said something about the volume of the stream.
Yeah, I tell you what, it sounded like you had a proton pack on in there. Sounds like you were trying to get rid of
Isaac,
what's
very
his name?
healthy.
Zool.
Duncan is very healthy.
Duncan's a healthy boy. Hashtag healthy boy with an I at the end.
Two eyes.
Eyes.
Healthy boy.
Healthy boy.
Isaac, what about you, mate? I've been working on my Australian accent too, by the way.
Do it again. I just saw a bunch of Joeys.
We're taking a trip in the family ute. We're going to Bendigo, mate.
We all meet for lunch, and so I was sitting in my car, and Duncan gets out of his car and he walks up to mine real quick, and he just says something in like an Australian accent, and then he just goes, "I've been working on my Australian accent." And I was like, "Okay," like I didn't even like really process.
Welcome to my life.
And he's like, "I've made it more gruff, and it sounds better," or whatever he said. And I was just like, "Do you just talk alone in your house in an Australian
Dude,
accent?"
I don't have anybody to talk to, so I just work on accents.
You need a corgi.
Russell Crowe. You got the beard.
Yeah.
Phillips.
Yeah, just get it going.
Seymour Hoffman.
What did I thought you said full lips.
No, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
He's not Australian.
No,
he's
Duncan.
Okay.
He's an American. He's an American, mate. So, what are we here to talk about again?
We are, this
particular episode,
already off the rails. It's great. We're going to do our top 5 or so.
Yeah,
I think it's going to come in right here. Graphics going to come in top 5 or so. I like making it difficult for you
top
to
5
add it later in.
Parentheses or less.
Or less.
Or less.
Yeah, because we're not doing more. Favorite Pixar franchises.
Right.
That way, my top 5 is in Toy Story 1 through 4, and then something else.
Because you could very well be like, oh, you know what? My top 5 favorite Pixar movies are Finding Nemo, then Toy Story 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to condense it down into the worlds that the movies live in. So franchises, yeah, that's the way it's working in my brain. It's
sure,
like, I like the Incredibles world, and all that kind of fun stuff.
World.
But Eric, before we do that, you and I saw a flick a couple of days ago. We checked out Onward.
Well, you said Flick, and I thought of Bug's Life, and I was like, where did we see Flick from Bug's Life at?
Speaking of Pixar, we visited. We checked out Onward, and it's opening up this weekend. Brand new Pixar movie. Isaac, unfortunately, hasn't gotten a chance to check it out yet. He's got a lot of stuff on his plate.
Yeah, kind of.
He just doesn't want to see it.
I mean, the field reporting is really what I'm focused on.
What did you think about Onward?
I thought it was really good. I still stand by. I think it's more of a mid-tier Pixar movie. It's the most DreamWorks style Pixar movie I think I've watched.
So
I know this is like controversial to say probably, but you can definitely tell. And also the way I'm about to word this is bad, but whatever. You can tell Lasseter didn't have his hands on it.
Really?
So it's a first project with no Lasseter.
What? So before the movie came out, my question was, I was a little bit. Why does this movie say Disney and Pixar at the top of it?
It always does that.
Does it? I guess I just never noticed it because in my mind, I always thought, okay, there's Pixar movies, and then there's Disney movies, which is like Wreck-It Ralph.
Well, that's Disney Animation Studios, which was originally, what was it called? Mappo, because it was named after Mary Poppins when it came out, and their animation studio is called Mappo. So.
I guess I'm not used to seeing, both titles on the same, but maybe it has always been that way, and I've just never noticed it. But I love the movie. One thing that I don't want to get into. I guess there's not really much you can spoil. All I will say is that the movie wants you to think it's one thing, and then it kind of ends up being something else.
Yeah, I want to see more of that world.
Oh, dude, yeah, I love the world.
It wasn't as quite as a deep dive into the world as I felt like we were going to get.
Yeah, it's a little bit more involved with the characters. I think my favorite character was Chris Pratt's character Barley.
Oh, dude, the pawn shop owner was hilarious to me, or the pawn shop worker. It's this lizard lady thing, and she's like, she's just it's straight up like a gremlin, honestly.
Yeah, she's like,
it's so weird, but it's great. It was just like a lizard. It didn't even seem like an actual creature. From fantasy. It was just they were like, let's do a creepy backwoods pawn shop owner. But it's great. There's a lot of great jokes in it. Second Breakfast is a breakfast place. The name of a restaurant, so that's funny stuff like that.
For me, it's you mentioned the world. It's the world that it lives in is it's a concept that I've always kind of I could probably make something like that. It's always been an idea of mine that I've always wanted to mess around with, and this goes back to kind of Bright. Remember that movie Bright with Will Smith? It's kind of almost that same concept where it's
without any humans.
Yeah, there's no humans.
There's no humans.
It's like a fantasy Lord of the Rings style kind of idea with like dragons and trolls and orcs and elves and whatnot. But it's set in like a modern day city, urban kind of like people have smartphones and laptops and drive a car and stuff like that. That idea as a concept to me is like something that I always. You don't see it too often. Like you saw it in Bright, and maybe I think a couple other things have done it. And like for me, I want to see more of that world sometime. I don't know how this movie's doing financially, but I would assume that we might get to see it again someday.
I would really like out of any Pixar series, I would actually think it would be the best for a Disney Plus show, even more so than like Monsters.
Well, there's so many stories you could tell. Yeah. Inside of that kind of that world. But no, I really love the movie. Like I said, it reminds me a lot, and I'm not going to spoil it for anybody yet, but it reminds me a lot of another Pixar movie that's one of my favorites. In that the ending,
Cars.
The ending is not what you. The Good Dinosaur. It's not what you expect.
Good Dinosaur is really sad.
It's not what you expect going into the movie. The movie winds up actually telling sort of a different story than you were really expecting, and I think that's sort of refreshing, I guess, in a way. It's that Pixar sort of formula, I guess, where like the story gets ran through so many different groups of people before it becomes a final thing. Like I could tell that this movie could have been a very simple story and could have ended and been, happily ever after, that sort of thing. And it's really not.
I do like the kind of the twist at the end, because I was kind of thinking in the middle of the movie, I was like, this is, without like spoiling it, I was like, this character and this character, like you wouldn't actually be that close. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And then when it actually has that like payoff in a sense, I was like, great. Because I was like, that made more sense to me. Right. And I like that they did that, because that normally would just be, they would really dig into what the idea is at the beginning, but they completely flip it on its head.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I guess at this point, how many
giant Cheetos?
How many? Dude, giant Cheetos.
There's a giant Cheeto in it. They like enchants a giant Cheeto so they can float down a river.
Yeah. They. Would you rather do giant Cheeto or Phoenix Gems?
Phoenix Gems. Can you get a picture of a Phoenix Gem?
I might be able to get, or I could get maybe one that looks similar.
Sure.
How many Phoenix Gems out of 5?
Phoenix Gem looks so good when they zoomed up on it. It looked like a real gem that they just like.
Yeah, the animation is beautiful.
Yeah, it's crazy. Out of 5?
Yeah.
I'll say 4 out of 5.
Wow.
For what I was trying to do.
I would probably, I think that's a safe bet. 4 out of 5 makes a lot of sense.
I'm not sure there's a Pixar movie that I would say is, for what it's trying to do, I don't think there's a Pixar movie really that does awful besides like Cars 2.
Yeah, when you brought up the concept of like trying to rank your favorite Pixar movies or world or series or franchises or whatever, it's sort of like, for me, there's like maybe 2 that really stand out above the rest, but then it's like all the rest of them for me are kind of on the same level,
and
they're all good.
Yeah,
but it's like, it's kind of like they all sort of are at the same level of quality. So, but no, 4 out of 5. I think that's fair. It's a really good movie, and I think kids would really enjoy it. There wasn't really that many kids in the theater when we saw it.
That's what I was about to ask. From the father side.
There was probably only 20 of us in the theater though, but it was basically like
that's what I was kind of.
It was like teenagers to our age.
I was kind of later showing.
Yeah, it was Thursday at 7.
The theater was about a third of the way
movie
full.
I saw the movie on Friday only made $12 million. It's only tracking for $45 million, which that's fine, but it's really not that much for like a Disney Pixar movie.
Right.
But it is a new franchise. But I mean, like spring break around here is this upcoming week, so I think spring break's starting to hit all over the country, so it is a good time for it to be released. But I don't know. I think it's worth seeing.
I definitely think it's worth seeing. If not for all the voice.
Great name too. Once you kind of see that like a couple layers of what Onward means, and then the literal version of it in the movie, I like it a lot.
I feel like kids would get I really just need to leave that to where the screensaver never comes back on. Sorry about that, folks. Kids would really get a kick out of it. I think it's also, it's emotional AF.
Very emotional.
Mm-hmm. I cried at least 3 or 4 times. I didn't want to admit that to you or your brother.
No, Andrew and I did. I know I saw Andrew like wipe his tears away at one point when I started crying.
Wait, so you went with Andrew to see it?
We all sat 1 seat apart. I walked in last. Duncan and Andrew were sitting 1 seat apart because Andrew said Duncan sat first. Andrew moved 1 seat apart because he wasn't sure. He's heard this thing of one of us within our group is weird about sitting right next to people. So Andrew sat 1 seat away from Duncan.
Oh, was that his explanation?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind if he sat next to me.
No, but he wasn't sure if it was you or like me or Isaac or whoever.
You and I sit next to each other.
Really, it's my dad originally.
I mean,
Thanks, Peter.
It is sort of a comfort thing, I guess. Not to be crowded against someone else, to have like a little bit of room. But
Isaac and I purposely sit just far enough away where if we touch each other,
no.
it's just our fingertips barely.
He's lying. He's lying.
Really?
We sit far enough away where you can like yell and still barely hear him.
True.
Yeah. But I was going to ask because it is kind of a brotherly movie, right?
Yeah.
That's the
kind
of the theme in the commercial.
That's sort of the
I would say family all around, but yeah, I would say brothers and fathers.
I would say for me,
or siblings and fathers.
And this goes into spoilers, so I apologize to anybody who hasn't seen the movie. But I really thought it was going to be a father-son story, but it is a brother movie. It's a brother movie for sure.
I thought it was good. I think it was good to see with Andrew.
If you've got a brother out there, just give him a hug.
No, and go see Onward.
And then give him a hug, and tell him you love him. Because
you never know when he's going to die by a dragon. I'm just kidding. No one dies by a dragon.
All right. And on that note, so let's get into our favorite Pixar franchises. Eric, why don't you lead us off?
With number 5?
Number 5.
I got to look at it.
Oh, gosh.
Okay. Number 5 for me, I actually came up with this morning. I think it's the most underrated Pixar movie, and people forget about it all the time. A Bug's Life.
Interesting.
I love A Bug's Life.
What year did that come out? 2000. I'm sorry.
Trivia time.
I think like 2002, maybe.
Earlier than that. It was the movie after Toy Story, so it was probably like 96 or 97.
Oh yeah, true. It's probably like 98. I'm gonna
remember the VHSs all had the different characters on them.
Yes, I do. I'm pretty good with movies.
So 4 years after Toy Story. Okay.
Bug's Life, a great story, but at the same time, like, I don't know.
Dude, it's so good.
Oh, this is the one where he's like, a beautiful butterfly.
Yeah. Heimlich.
Dude, in the world of like, dude, where Pixar actually, for a long time, I guess Pixar didn't do sequels to all of its movies. Why have we not gotten? I mean, I guess we've gotten little shorts and stuff, but dude, we should get a Bug's Life sequel.
I think we should. I think it's just like
I think we're overdue for.
It was a very simple movie, but that was the first. Toy Story, obviously, it wasn't necessarily like Toy Story. You didn't have a lot of world building because it existed in the real world.
Isn't it very famously like ripping off another movie? Isn't it like?
Well, Ants and Bug's Life came out at the same time, but
no. The story itself is like
I mean, it's kind of like someone leaves like a hero's journey type thing to save people.
What's the Western that it's very similar to like. And it's not like, is it the Magnificent Seven? I think it's like
the Seven Samurai.
Seven Samurai. That's Magnificent Seven.
Bug's Life
rips off Seven Samurai.
The film is loosely inspired by the fable The Ant and the Grasshopper and the classic samurai film The Seven Samurai.
Yeah,
good call.
It is the second Pixar movie and tells the story of an outcast inventor named Flick who recruits a group of circus bugs he mistakes for warriors.
Yeah,
I think it's fun. When I was little, I would say A Bug's Life was probably next to Toy Story, Muppet Treasure Island, and Toy Story, Muppet Treasure Island, and like Hercules probably is and Aladdin, Lion King, and all that. But a little bit older than that, it's like my most watched movie. I remember watching Bug's Life like all the time.
I've seen it several times myself. I haven't
watched it in at least 10 years now.
It comes on TV every once in a while, and the one thing that doesn't really hold up for me is that early Pixar animation. Mm-hmm. I think it doesn't really hold up.
I would say watching Toy Story 1, I watched it in 4K. It helps. It's still, but you have to have reference point for it. It's like watching a black and white movie. Like it's like the first of its kind in a way. So you got to watch it, but you got to know like this isn't going to look like, you're not going to see like the fiber on Woody's arms or anything like that.
Is there any Bug's Life rides or anything like that?
So there was Disneyland had an entire Bug's Life section.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, and they got rid of it for Galaxy's Edge, and then Star Wars or Marvel. I'm sorry, Marvel is all taking over Bug's Life because they had Heimlich's Choo Choo Train, but it was CHEW, and so now his like the head part of like the little kid's like train thing sits up at Pixar. So Pixar's like whole story is fascinating because it was George Lucas had this group called like the Graphics Group, I believe it was called. And when he was trying to make Howard the Duck. When he made Howard the Duck, Howard the Duck tanked. He wanted it to be an animated movie. Studio wouldn't let it be an animated movie. They said it has to be live.
So in comes Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs buys it to make sure to give George Lucas more capital. So he buys the graphics group for $5 million. Then he does a $5 million capital investment, and then he turns it into Pixar. So really, it's like you sat there and you had Steve Jobs buying George Lucas's, and it's Pixar, and it went to Disney. Like, Pixar may have the coolest person-to-person owner story out of any company ever, to be honest.
It's dude, for me as a kid, it was one of those things that I loved to draw as a kid, and it was always like, oh man, one day I'll work at Pixar.
Oh, I would love to work at Pixar.
Yeah. Dude, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Isaac, what about you? What's your fifth favorite?
Or your number 2.
Or your
So you don't really like Pixar movies, you said, or you just don't care for them, or what?
Yeah, I don't. There's just a few worlds. Like, there's a big gap between 5 and 1. They're not so close together, So it's hard to rewatch some of these. So I only have maybe 2 or 3 that I would probably go to. So why don't you guys give your 5?
Okay.
Kind of work.
All right, that's fine. For me, if I had to go with my fifth favorite. Let's see. I feel like there's one that I'm leaving out. And I didn't have... Dude, I have 1 through 4 definite, but my fifth was sort of a wild card. I feel like there's a world that I'm forgetting.
Do you need me to pull up a list of Pixar movies or something? You have Toy Story, A Bug's Life, Finding Nemo, Brave, Cars, Ratatouille, WALL-E, Monsters, Inc.
I've never seen Ratatouille.
Ratatouille's awesome.
They just redid Paris.
Epcot. Yeah, the Ratatouille ride. It's a trackless dark ride. And you're small. It looks really cool. Lots of rats. It's all rats. Some guy died, I believe, working on a construction worker. Yeah, like a couple months ago. Mm-hmm.
If I had to go with...
Anyone can cook, but not apparently anybody can build. Oh, that was dark.
I'm going to have to go with... I don't want to copy you and say A Bug's Life because...
It's not copying. Do you think it's your fifth?
I really think it is my fifth favorite.
Okay.
I'm going to have to agree with you just because it was the first time that, at that point, all we really knew from the Pixar side of things was the fact that toys could talk and the world that the Bug's Life sort of builds.
Yeah, that's what Bug's Life does a great job of building a world versus Toy Story is kind of well, this exists within your world.
Right.
And they're great for their own reasons, but yeah.
For me, one thing that I think Pixar does so well is that it takes you into a world, it's there's so many elements. It's I'd like to visit that place. You know what I mean? It's I want to go visit the monster world. I want to go visit the world of the Incredibles. Whatever the case may be. And for Bug's Life, it's the same thing. So I'll go with that as my fifth favorite Pixar franchise.
So should we go? Are you doing top 2 or 3?
Yeah, just kind of.
You're
just like you always do. I'm always off screen. So
Isaac needs special. He needs special accommodations.
All right. Okay, so are you going to jump in at one of the numbers though? Or
yeah. I'll just eventually just.
So my number 4 actually. It's I remember it. My number 4 is The Incredibles.
Whoa,
dude!
Which is low, probably.
We're okay. So we're still on the same page.
Incredibles is. I like the world The Incredibles builds, but for some reason, I feel like The Incredibles. I love Incredibles 1. I think Incredibles 2 is good, but for some reason, it just didn't click with me like the first one did.
Are you talking about the story? You're talking about the animation?
It's a story. I like the animation. I like the whole 50s retro, but current. I love that.
It's a combination of
it's very Pixar. Pixar does a lot of in their credits and things. They do 2D
every time you say
looking stuff.
I don't know what the deal is. Every time you say Pixar, it goes Pixar.
Oh, Pixar.
I'm not sure why it's doing that. Anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to throw you off.
So The Incredibles is awesome, but I feel like there's my top 3 are. I definitely like those franchises more. I like The Incredibles is cool because it is superheroes. It's just for some reason The Incredibles falls short for me in what it's trying to do, just a little bit. But it's a fun world. It's fun. They're fun movies. Bao played before Incredibles 2. The best Pixar short, by the way.
Oh, by the way, interesting thing about Onward. What did you think about that Simpsons short?
Oh, yeah, they do a Simpsons short in front of it. They always did a Pixar short. Now it's a Simpsons short about Maggie falling in love with this other baby.
I freaking loved it, dude.
It was good. Huh. It was good. It was honestly, it was funny.
It's the first...
I think that's their thing, though, is they do, since they do the Spark shorts on Disney Plus now, they bought Fox. It's we have to market The Simpsons as family
That's
friendly.
what I was about
for
to say.
kids. So
are they trying to get it back to that point?
I think it's where they're trying to push The Simpsons to be more like, oh no, it's a family show.
There's no voice actors for it, and nobody actually says anything.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, no one, Homer and Marge are in it.
The only noise you hear is that pacifier noise from from Maggie.
Hey, that'll be in a future ASMR video.
It's the only Simpson thing like I think I've ever seen. Like I've never seen an episode of The Simpsons.
I meant to, and I thought about this while we were watching it. I was trying to see if there was ever a Simpsons short before this. Technically, on the show that it started on, what was it? Because it was like shorts on.
Was it the Carol Burnett show?
No, not Carol Burnett show.
No, I don't know.
It's almost been around that long.
It's a woman's name. I can't.
No, but it was a guy though. I thought Tracy Ullman. Yeah, so The Simpsons started as shorts. I thought Tracy Ullman was a guy. Okay, sorry.
Oh. You can have a guy named Tracy Morgan.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah.
Tracy Johnson.
I'm about to see what gender is Tracy.
Chewbacca Johnson. That's
Where
a new.
Where is that from? Chewbacca. Did you come up with that?
Yeah, I've come up with
Okay, Tracy Ullman's a woman. Okay.
I've tried to implement Chewbacca Johnson into almost every episode of the podcast.
British American actress, comedian, singer. Besides her reference for The Simpsons show, I don't think I know who she is at all.
Tracy Ullman will always live in infamy as the first place that The Simpsons popped up, but nobody knows who Tracy Ullman is. We're probably ignorant to who Tracy Ullman is.
Well, also The Simpsons is like one of the biggest things ever.
When was that? 1980?
1989, I think, because I know Simpsons is actually older than me.
Yeah, I was going to say that was the year I was birthed.
Yeah, so The Simpsons short was interesting. So number 4, I have Incredibles. Are you Incredibles at 4?
I'm Incredibles also.
Okay.
Yeah. If only for the fact of I really love the voice cast. It's like different, and I love that. What was the gap between the first one and the second one? Like 17 years or something like that?
Yeah, but in the movie universe, it's like minutes.
Right. It's really cool that they were able to get most of everybody who's still alive back for the second one.
Yeah.
What do you think about the first? Which one's better to you?
The first one.
What about you, Jose?
I don't know, because I'm looking at it from a different angle now. Like the first Incredibles.
What angle is that? The angle of a father?
Exactly. And the second one is him kind of role reversing. So it's very interesting to see it from that aspect and kind of relate to it. So I kind of like the second one more just because it kind of relates towards me, where I'm kind of home with the kids sometimes and we're, trying to make ends meet. Now, like, she's not disappearing and like turning into a demon. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, one of the main reasons why I might edge the first one out over the second one is I love Syndrome so much as a villain.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean? And there's nothing...
Yeah, Syndrome's a much better villain than
If you ask me right now who the villain is of the second one, I don't even think I know who it is.
It was like the TV guy, but it wasn't really. It was his sister.
Oh, that's right.
Is that Bob Odenkirk?
Bob Odenkirk was the voice, yeah. Interesting.
Well, Edna Mode, sorry to cut you off, it was Brad Bird.
Yeah.
Dude, I saw
Which is crazy.
And I'll have to see if I can find an image of it and put it up in post, but I saw there was a meme or something I saw yesterday, for a matter of fact, of like a boyfriend was snapping a picture of his girlfriend, and in the caption it was like, my girlfriend's professor at college looks like she makes superhero suits in her spare time, and she looked exactly like Edna Mode.
That'd be weird.
It's so funny. I think obviously it's like I can't show it to you.
She's one of the most memorable Pixar characters overall. I would say one of my favorites, but she's definitely one of the most memorable.
I swore I thought that she was inspired by like a real person.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Was it Vera Bradley she's inspired by or something?
No idea.
Fact check that.
Fact check.
Who is Edna Mode? Duncan, what's your number 3?
My number 3. Okay, we're gonna flip this. Rotate this, and
are you about to Missy Elliott it?
Put my thing down, flip it, and reverse it. It's funny not to be a prisoner of the moment, but if I had to go with number 3, dude, I think it's gonna be Onward.
Really? Okay.
Onward. On the way. I talked.
Sorry, real quick. Inspired by Q from the James Bond franchise. Very interesting.
It's
widely believed to have been based primarily on costume designer Edith Head. Okay. Although there continues to be constant speculation to which celebrities inspired Edna, particularly Vogue editor-in-chief Anna Wintour and actress Linda Hunt. Anna Wintour, isn't this her? Anna Wintour, her? Or Linda Hunt? Okay.
Oh wow, that does look
from
very...
I will say if there's one live action Pixar that they do at one point, I think Incredibles is by far the easiest choice. Yeah, I think that's.
You ever seen that? You ever seen that video of the people at Disney World who dress up like the Incredibles? They do like a live show at one point during the day.
Oh, when her face falls off?
Her head falls
off. It's great. Have you ever seen that? Just the front of her face. Okay.
Yeah, it's just the front of her face falls off.
So talk about Onward. I'm going to get this up for
Dude,
Isaac.
for me, Onward is, I kind of alluded to it earlier. For me, it's the world that Onward is set in. Like we kind of briefly stuck our toe into the world itself. But for me, that universe is so ripe for more stories to tell that like I said, that concept has sort of always been something that I was into, so I loved it just for the fact of like the universe itself.
That's where I'm like, this is too soon for me to say that it's on my top 5.
I agree with that, and it was kind of a weird thing to put it on a list when you're like just saw it 2 days ago, but I feel confident and like I just really dug the world.
I could see the Onward replacing the Incredibles for me at some point. All right, so
here we go.
It's watching Disney like costume fails on YouTube. Watch it sometime. It's fantastic.
It's pretty hilarious.
Like the Aladdin one where they're hanging upside down, yelling for their lives. I'm
not trying to get cancel culture here, but dude, Miss Incredible could get it.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh man, that's so bad.
The announcer is like, "Let's hear it for." Oh, okay,
dude.
I think they do it in slow mo.
Dude, it's those big old mother-bearing hips of hers.
She just eats it right there on stage.
You didn't even say like she thick. You're just like those mother-bearing hips.
Child-bearing is what I meant.
Duncan is ready for some children or something. Those mother-bearing.
I meant child-bearing.
Give me them.
I really tickled Eric with that one.
Oh my god!
I love it when I tickle Eric, when I get Eric going.
It's funny.
I feel like I'm sitting in the wrong seat here.
No, dude, this was intentional on purpose.
Mm-hmm. Why?
Isaac's back.
Isaac's back.
You're back. My bro.
My man.
Oh god.
My man.
All right,
kind of sound like Fat Albert instead of Aquaman there.
You kind of sound like.
Wait, what's your 3's Onward? My 3, Monsters Inc. So Monsters Inc. and Monsters University.
Yeah.
Do you have a 3 or do you only have a 2 and a 1?
Yeah, that would probably be my 3.
3?
Yeah, for sure.
Monsters Inc. was one of those. I remember watching it in theaters. Fantastic movie. That's one of the first DVDs I remember watching a lot. Monsters Inc. is a lot of fun. I know it's much higher on your list, I'm sure. But because like you love Monsters University. But like John Goodman and Billy Crystal.
I can tell you easily right now, Monsters University is my favorite Pixar movie.
See, it's not me for all.
And it's so controversial, but like it's so weird. You know what?
It's really good.
What it is for me is the fact that how many times I've seen it. It's like the perfect story, in my opinion. Like the way the story sort of moves along and progresses, I think it's like the perfect way.
It's your Citizen Kane.
Yes, of Pixar movies. It's perfect, dude. I think it's almost a perfect movie.
Instead of Rosebud, it's gonna be Mike Wazowski.
Yeah, it's just Duncan on his deathbed going Mike Wazowski. They're like, what? His kids are gonna be like, what? And it turns out it's just a Monsters University Blu-ray or something.
Have you guys
Wazowski?
Have you ever seen any of the? There's several videos online of like the Pixar mistakes, like the issues inside of the Pixar movies. You know, Monsters University and Monsters Inc. has one of the most egregious errors.
Wait, what is it?
Inside of it? In
Monsters aren't real.
Oh yeah,
that's what it is.
None of this is real. You can turn the podcast off right now if you want to, because it's not real. No, in Monsters Inc., the Sully and Mike talk about how long they've known each other. And they're like, remember that time in 4th grade or whatever? But then you watch Monsters University and they didn't meet until their freshman year of college. Now, in my mind, I've been able to explain away the issue.
What is that? What's the issue? That they just knew each other from school then?
I was going to say that they actually did go to school with each other, but they weren't like friends.
That's fine, because that makes sense.
Nobody's really ever come out and explained that. And there's like tons more in all of... I think I told you in Toy Story, he says there's a snake in my boots in the first movie, but then in the other 3, he says snake in my boot. It's really weird.
I feel that's weird.
It's kind of odd.
But in
here's
Monsters
another
University,
fail. Sorry, I thought of.
Oh man,
This is Mike Wazowski. falling. It's very.
No!
Actually, they just took Mike Wazowski away at Disney World, so he's not at like.
I've never. Oh
my gosh!
I never.
That was almost at the movie theater the other night.
I could see him doing that in real life.
Dude, Onward, dude.
I would die laughing.
When we were walking out of Onward, dude, I missed a step on the side. You know the stairs you go down on the side. I missed a step, and I almost
all of a sudden we're like turning the corner to walk down the stairs, and Duncan like reaches behind himself to like grab my arm or something else. Kind of like,
I was just
what does he do?
I was reaching for anything because I was about to freaking bite it, man.
And then we get to the bottom of the stairs, and Duncan goes, "I almost ate shit." I was just like, "What,
dude?" Yeah, it could have been bad. Could have been bad.
I did tell my mom about it because as soon as I got home, I was like, "Dude, Duncan almost fell." I was like, I felt bad because I know I would have laughed really hard as soon as it happened.
And it's the feeling's mutual. If it had been you, I would have laughed also.
Good.
Wow.
And that's the sign of a true friendship, I think.
I'm gonna shove you downstairs.
All right, that's fair. So is it my turn, or is it Isaac's turn?
Number 3 is Monsters Inc.
You
What's
agreed.
your 3? Did you do 3?
I said Onward.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I agree.
So
with
we're going to
Monsters
2. You do
3.
your 2 first.
Okay. Well, my 2 is Incredibles.
Oh, okay. Wow. So you stay quiet around
the
that.
second one. Yeah.
Okay, but so just specifically the second one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, the second one.
Yeah, the second one.
Why?
Did you? Well, because of
the animation's
fatherhood.
The animation's better.
Well, the first one almost never got made because the animation wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
It was something about the hair that had them like challenging that.
I've heard that first human Pixar movie, wasn't it?
Andy's in Toy Story, right?
Yeah, but he looks like a freak in the first
yeah.
one. Yeah. Dude, he looks like something from The Hills Have Eyes. Like, he does not look good.
Sid's like, that's why they didn't do hair for him.
Sid looks like a pug and a human had a baby. Like, honestly.
He would look like
Sid
me if I shaved my head.
Yeah.
Pliers.
Rockets explode. Sid looks like a freak. Pixar.
But I liked Incredibles 2, mainly for the father kind of aspect of it.
Did you like the whole, like, they almost do, like, not necessarily like a Justice League, but they really expand on superheroes? Did you like? I felt taken aback by that a little bit.
No.
What? Wait, what's that again?
Pixar does this a lot, though, where they'll, like, pimp, like, a sequel, and they'll be like, here's all these new voice actors by, like, famous people, and then they're in the movie for, like, 5 seconds.
Like Sam Jackson.
Pixar does that with everything. Yeah, Frozone. They try to shove Frozone in there quite a bit in Incredibles 2, and I was like, it didn't feel natural.
Yeah.
I will say, like, for me, one of the things I loved about Onward so much was Tom Holland's voice acting, and, like I said earlier...
It never sounded like Tom Holland to me.
Oh.
Seriously.
I was going to ask about that.
Oh, well, you know what it is?
Chris Pratt, it definitely sounded like Chris Pratt.
You know what it is like...
Did they use a voice modulator on Tom Holland?
Well, no, but I think what it is he's British. Mm-hmm. So when he does an American accent, he's probably trying to do a slightly different accent than what Peter Parker sounds like.
True, because Peter Parker talks with a deeper voice, and like his character did not have a deep voice.
Did not sound like Peter Parker.
He wasn't whiny or anything, but he didn't sound like he had it. It did not sound like Tom
I didn't
Holland.
think about it the whole time. Is like he didn't do his British accent the entire movie.
He gets bitten by a spider. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh. Well, that was his second voiceover from doing Doolittle, right?
And then Spies in Disguise.
Oh, that's right, with Will Smith.
2 movies that only like 8 people saw.
So you're on Fandom right now, and they have like a banner, like ad banner for Onward. That looks like a DreamWorks movie to me. It's just Onward definitely felt like Pixar's answer to Shrek.
You know what it looks like to me is like it looks like a Disney animation movie. It doesn't look like it.
Sure, okay.
Feels like this feels. It looks
It just doesn't feel like Pixar to me. There's something.
I agree with that.
The Pixar emotions are there, but everything else does not feel like Pixar to me.
I don't know. What about that compared to Up or Inside Out?
Totally different.
I've never seen Up either.
Well, I'm just thinking about the animation.
Never seen Up
style.
Oh wow.
Never seen it.
That's crazy. You watch all these movies 100 times.
Yeah.
You haven't seen his Rolodex.
I'm sorry, Isaac, but that is coming through your mic.
Oh, sorry.
I apologize.
Whoa.
No, it's okay.
I was trying to figure out where it was coming from.
Well, everybody else has got their hands on the table. Now I can't put my
You
hands on the table.
can put your hands like this. I'm not making you do.
Put your.
But when you rub your mic stand like that,
sorry,
dude, it's like Corona.
No rubbing your mic stand, please.
You can't rub your face.
That's right.
And it's so funny that video, and then she like licks her finger to turn the page.
That was a fail.
You know, I've seen a lot of the Curb where they cut that at the end titles for Curb, and that one's good.
All right, so we had 2 was Incredibles 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
You want to do your two first?
My second favorite, and I mean, this is probably going to bite.
Oh, should we do my two first then? Because I know what your two is going to be, and that's my one.
Oh, yeah, so that's fine.
Do you want to, it rolls better? Okay. Fine. My number 2 is Coco. I love Coco.
Okay. Yeah, I see this.
I love, like, I know, like, it's like a silly thing. I love Mama Coco. I truly do love Mama Coco, though. But, dude, Coco is a gorgeous movie. It's got incredible music. It's super positive and upbeat, even though it deals with, like, literal death.
Right.
It's fun. It's vibrant. It's emotional. Dude, Coco is, like, Coco to me may be the, like, objectively the best Pixar movie.
It's pretty good. And the music's great. And, you know, it's funny. I have not thought about Coco this entire episode. But there's a lot of Pixar movies.
There are.
There's 21.
There's 21?
21 or something like that.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
20. That seems like double what I thought there was, honestly.
Well, now, dude, when we were,
no way.
I feel like
I Google search how many Pixar movies are there. The answer on Google says at least 20 or 67. At least 67, not shorts.
It's probably getting mixed, dude. People,
Google's like,
dude, there's people out there that think that those Disney animation movies are also Pixar movies.
Yeah.
Which that's a whole nother, dude. I'm not even joking. I think
22.
If you were to take
Soul will be 23.
Let me ask you this.
Oh, Soul. Okay.
Soul will be 23 though.
Let me ask you this.
That's counting Onward.
Yeah.
If you had to take the whole of the Disney animation, if you could only watch one going forward, would it be Disney animation movies or Pixar movies?
Pixar.
Really?
Well, backwards or forwards?
What does that mean?
Like, I mean, backwards means movies that have already come out.
Oh yeah, it's like you can only watch one side of it. You can only watch Disney.
No.
Dude.
I'm trying to verify
semantics.
Oh,
if I could watch movies that have already come out, it's Pixar hands down. If I could watch future movies, I feel like Disney animation is gonna just take over at some point anyway. So
that's interesting. For me, it would be. I really think that I would have to go with the Disney movies, dude. The Wreck-It Ralph movies, Big Hero 6.
Big Hero 6 is very good.
Moana.
Momoa about Jason Momoa.
Yeah. My man.
Dude, I think I said
Moana is a Pixar level movie that's done by Disney Animation, to be honest.
I really feel like
Frozen's awesome. Frozen 2's
never seen Frozen.
Yeah, it's
not that good.
Yeah.
You went and saw Frozen 2?
We actually rented it a couple weeks ago.
Oh, it's out already?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Frozen 1's very good. I watched it a couple weeks before Frozen 2 came out.
I've never seen either one of them.
Dude, Frozen, you'll like Frozen.
Yeah, I need to give it a shot.
Into the unknown.
Yeah, he likes the In Summer is probably the best one. In Summer, the song from the first one.
Oh,
Josh
okay.
Gad's jazz
Yes. That is good. Frozen's very good. But yeah, Big Hero 6. We need Big Hero 7, whatever they want to call it.
We need Big Hero 6.5.
Big Hero 6 is awesome. That's a better superhero movie than The Incredibles, to be honest.
I would agree with that.
To be honest, it is. It's a little bit more like James Bondish to me, where it's like tech and stuff. But
go back and rewatch it, and you'll be like, you know what, this movie's pretty good.
But yeah, Coco is an absolutely incredible movie. I love Coco so much.
The idea, their version of like the afterlife, and the whole idea.
Well, that's really like how it is, like for like Mexican culture.
Oh
like,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
What, you know, like
seeing that visually though. I like that visually.
It's a perfect. It's a perfect Pixar movie to me. I don't like. It's weird to say. Mm-hmm. I would put that next. If someone was like, I can only watch 2 Pixar movies, like introduce them to what Pixar is, it would be Toy Story 1 and Coco.
You know what's funny is,
and then be like, there's a whole lot in between though.
Every Pixar movie has like that emotional moment, that moment that's going to hit you in the feels. You know, for me, liking Monsters University so much, it really doesn't have that moment. I mean, there's the moment where Mike Wazowski realizes that he's just not scary and he's not the monster he wants to be. Mm-hmm. But that's not really emotional.
It's the least Pixar movie. Monsters University is.
I would disagree with that. It's pretty. I think it's kind of Pixar.
Second to The Good Dinosaur. Good Dinosaur is not a bad movie. Just watched it for the first time literally last week.
I don't think it.
Are you saying that just because it doesn't have a tearjerker moment?
Dude, Good Dinosaur does have tearjerker
moments.
No, I'm
saying because of Monsters University doesn't.
I think that's a Pixar trademark is a tearjerker moment.
I don't think it has like there's not that moment where like Monsters University like is not a tearjerker. There's not that moment in the movie. But for some reason though, it's still my favorite.
Monsters Inc. doesn't really have a tearjerker though too. I mean, I guess when he's got to leave Boo, but
yeah, you
kind of see that coming in a sense. And I think the tearjerker moments for Pixar are usually a little bit more random, like the opening of Finding Nemo, the opening of Up. Yeah, those are sad. Finding Dory also not a great sequel.
Yeah, I tossed around the idea of like trying to say that Nemo might be one of my favorites, but like I don't know. I like the.
I feel like we got bashed over the head with Nemo.
Yeah, I like those movies, but like it's just not one of my favorites.
Is it still the number one selling DVD of all time? You know what Finding Nemo was for like forever.
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah.
Want to know what my first Blu-ray I ever bought was? It was that first Planet of the Apes movie, like Dawn or the
with James Franco.
With the one with James Franco.
Great movie.
Yeah, that movie.
Mine was Pineapple Express. Didn't even have a Blu-ray player yet.
Wow, 2 movies with James Franco in it.
That is Franco Blu-ray
boys
cinematic universe.
And then my second one was Spider-Man 2.
Frozen took over this.
Just kidding.
I bet Frozen took over DVD.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, Frozen, Avatar, Despicable Me. Oh, Blu-ray, sorry.
Yeah, don't be looking at Laserdisc.
DVD. Oh, the Tigger movie.
Oh, dang.
What?
Finding Nemo is... Well, no, sales. What?
Just sorted by revenue or sales.
Okay, Finding Nemo. Yeah.
Still a
38,800,000. Cars is second at 23 million. So by 15 million.
That's crazy.
What do you guys think
That's
about
huge.
the Cars universe, the Cars world?
Dude, Cars 2 sucks. Cars 3 is better than I think.
I don't know if I've ever seen the third one.
Dude, you would like.
I kind of like the first one. I'm not even.
The first one's fine. It's the most child Pixar movie to me.
Well, you know what,
dude, I'm excited for Disneyland because they have the whole Cars area,
Uh-huh.
and it's supposed to be like really cool.
Yeah.
And
well,
yeah.
The whole thing about Cars is like, I think what it is like you can enjoy the movie, but I think if you really sit back and look at it, it's the one that feels the most like we're just making this movie to turn around and make a bunch of toys of all of these characters.
Yeah.
And that's the one that, in the fact that there's now 3 of them, and then there's even
Planes.
those like the Planes movies and stuff.
Was
It's like-
Cars the first one after Disney bought Pixar? Basically out of spite. They basically spite bought them. They were like, you're not going to keep doing Toy Story without us. We're just going to buy you, so you have to do what you want. Because Cars seems the most like Disney wants to do merchandise.
So let me ask you this. I feel like I've said that a bunch tonight. When Toy Story and Bug's Life came out, those weren't Disney movies?
They were in...
They were under the Disney umbrella, I think, distributed under their umbrella.
Yeah, like you know, like
Pixar.
games are like made by like a developer, but then like a studio, or they're made by a studio and like distributed by a developer type thing. That's basically how Pixar was standalone, but they had like a deal. Like Disney's like, here's some money, make us something, type of thing. So that's how that works. But then Disney ended up, Toy Story 3 was supposed to be entirely different with Buzz going to, like, there's a recall on Buzz Lightyear dolls, and he was supposed to go to Japan, I think it was, Japan or China, to get fixed. And then that's what the Toy Story 3 was supposed to be when Disney didn't buy Pixar. And then they decided, like, no, we're just going to buy Pixar. So, and then they completely revamped what Toy Story 3 was going to be about.
Speaking of Toy Story, that would be my second favorite franchise, is the Toy Story franchise. I'm assuming...
That's my number one.
Number one,
for
sure.
Dude. I love Toy Story.
For sure.
Yeah. It's the most recognizable Pixar franchise.
I think everybody at least likes Toy Story.
Yeah,
like the franchise in general.
And everyone knows who Toy Story or Woody and Buzz are. Real quickly, while we're talking about it, what's your order of the 4 movies?
1, 3, and then 2 and 4. 1 and 3 are locked in. 2 and 4 can basically sort of like flip flop.
What about you, Isaac?
2, 1, 3, 4.
2, 1. Wow, 2's your favorite? Mm-hmm. I think,
dude, 2's really the airport scene is
perfect.
perfect.
I mean, we're kind of splitting hairs.
2's a perfect.
Oh yeah,
they're all great.
No. Between 1 and 2, it's very close. But then 3's right up there. But 4 is like the redheaded stepchild of just like out there. Yes.
4's totally unnecessary, but I had fun watching it.
You're going to be surprised when I say this. My order would be 4, 3, 1, 2.
Dude, 3 to me is the most like emotional movie. Like it's just 4 doesn't need to exist, and that's why it kind of like.
What's funny is like when we say movies, when we were talking about earlier, like movies, it doesn't feel like a Pixar movie. What we're really saying is it doesn't feel like Toy Story.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Like that feel, like just like like how it's like it's very mature, but like get a small kid could watch it. You watch Toy Story now versus when you were little, it's like a completely different movie, but you still like it.
Something out of it. You get something different out of it for sure.
Yeah, and then like watching Toy Story and
that Toy Story 2, the thing that I loved about Toy Story 2 is that scene where Woody's getting fixed and he's like cleaning his eyes, and dude, that's so satisfying.
Very aesthetically.
Love that scene.
And then the other Buzz Lightyear doll was funny.
Oh yeah.
Like going and like the Barbie in the aisle.
I love that gag in the third one when he gets turned onto the Spanish mode.
Oh yeah.
That is funny.
That's so funny, dude. It's so funny. Great. I will agree that 4 is like the one that you don't really need it. But for me, it turned out to be so rewatchable. I've watched it 6 times on Disney Plus.
What's like your favorite scene? Not to put you on the spot.
It's funny.
I already know my favorite scene of 4.
What about 1 though?
I want to say,
top, right?
dude.
That's my top.
And it might just be because it's the very beginning of the movie, but the beginning scene when they're trying to rescue RC, the car. I think that might be when the rain's coming down. I think that might be my favorite. It's
crazy how it looks.
Yeah. Also, I've grown to love Forky. I hate it.
Forky's awesome.
I did not like Forky in the beginning, but I've grown to really like Forky.
My favorite scene in 4 is actually when Forky keeps jumping out into the trash on the bed when Bonnie's sleeping.
And he keeps throwing him up on the bed.
It's so funny because it's like Woody would be like that, just like, well, I got to do what I got to do, like, and just keep on pushing him back. And,
the one thing that I did not. I mean, you can talk about the ending of 4 and the split.
That was sad, but I was like, okay.
There's not enough for me. 4 is a Woody and Forky movie.
Yeah, Buzz is barely.
Buzz is barely.
Plus, they make Buzz dumb in 4, which I don't like. Buzz is more naive. He's always been the most naive out of all the toys.
The whole inner voice thing.
But a lot of Buzz and Woody, he's the most naive. But
I would like more Buzz.
That was odd. That felt like a Toy Story 1 trope with Buzz.
It feels like, as much as I love it, it does feel like this was like an extended short. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like all those Forky shorts and which I love. I love that all of those are on Disney Plus now. It does feel kind of like this is like just an extended short, and there's like you think
it's just not necessary.
Do you think that we'll get a Toy Story 5?
I think in some form or fashion we'll get something like that.
I think I think we'll definitely. Now,
Lamp Life was pretty good. That new short that's on it's like 4 minutes is about what happens to Bo
That's not
Peep.
the same cast though.
It was okay.
No, Tom Hanks' brother.
It was Tom Hanks'
Woody.
brother.
He does all the B-roll stuff as always.
Have you ever seen the documentary I Know That Voice?
No.
It's about voice actors. That's where I first learned about Tom Hanks' brother doing. He does the voice for like all of the like McDonald's and Burger King commercials and the Toy Story video games.
Oh,
and
dude,
stuff
Toy
like
Story.
that.
Remember, Mr. Potato Head and Ms. Potato Head from Toy Story were huge with Burger King for years.
Well, Mr. The guy who voiced
Is it fries?
Mm-hmm. Like for real, that's all.
I
that
do
was
remember
with the fries.
that.
Yeah.
Was Mr.
Toy Story
Potato
did a
Head
lot of
on
toys at Burger King.
Was he on the packaging for the fries?
Yeah, he was like there, and it was like the Toy Story Mr. Potato Head.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah,
Don Rickles passed away before this movie was finished, so all of his lines were like previously recorded stuff.
I do wish, I will say, Disney Toy Story Land's a lot of fun, but I wish it was a little, and it's very immersive. It's cool walking through because like there's like a giant straw that's like a light, and it's like pretty cool to see that. But like I wish it was a bigger land. I guess I wish there was more of it, but because it's really neat and well done. Slinky Dog Dash is a great ride. Midway Mania is fun.
I love Slink.
The aliens, I'll say my favorite scene of the first Toy Story is when they're actually in Pizza Planet and then they meet the aliens and it's like the claw and all that. It's so good. Because it's like the aliens just truly believe they are aliens and there's like this divine being coming to get them. And then the whole, of course, the scene when, like rockets don't fly or whatever, rockets explode. And he actually flies for the first time, falling with style scene. That's a great scene.
That's great. That really is great.
That's such a, like when I was little, I remember like every time I watched it, I was like, are they going to make it?
When he actually
like it was a different
flying?
version. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then because Woody earlier in the movie says, you don't fly, you fall with style. That's falling with style. And then at the end, they reverse it and Buzz says, I'm not flying, I'm falling with style. So good. And then like the RC car and it kind of runs out of batteries. And then it's like you see their faces like flying back because they're with the rocket. It's really cool. And then like the little weird messed up toys that Sid makes that they have to meet and stuff, but they're actually nice. Really creepy. Dude, the Toy Story Sega game, awesome. There's even a 3D level, which is
was there a Nintendo 64 game?
There was Toy Story 2 where you play as Buzz.
I know that I played a Toy Story game when I was a kid. but I don't remember if it was a Super Nintendo game or a Nintendo 64 game.
Were you playing as Buzz? It was like 3D. You running. That one was cool because you ran around their entire house as Buzz, and that was just the first level.
See, that sounds familiar.
That one was cool. But Toy Story 1 was a side scroller, and you were Woody. But then one level, you were Buzz going through like the claw machine, and it was like a maze. It was kind of like Doom, but you were playing as Buzz. But that's exactly like the concept of it. And it was just one level like that. And then you had another level where you were riding on RC at the end to get to the car, and it was 3D like that. But there was like a little cheat. You could go as Woody in the first level. You jump out of Andy's toy box, and you could go back into the toy box on the left side of the level and like crouch for like 3 seconds, and you would have unlimited lives. Like, it was
How
just
do you
weird.
remember all of this?
I just have weird like
you just
memories
played
about
it like
stuff.
yesterday.
No, I haven't played that game since I was little.
You have very specific memories of video games.
I do.
I found.
Yeah.
Because you were talking about one, I think on maybe the toy episode, the 90s toy episode.
Earthworm Jim, was it? Or
I think it was Earthworm Jim, and you like remembered something that like, I'm like, I don't even remember that.
A lot of like my first cheat code ever I learned for a video game was the Aladdin cheat code on Sega Genesis is ABBA, and it was a level skip.
Dude, are cheat codes still a thing?
I think it's more modding now as the kind of game.
Yeah. I don't like GTA is always known for cheat codes, so they do it.
Yeah.
But like, I can't think of a game. My thing though too is a lot of multiplayer games you wouldn't do cheat codes because that like makes it unfair for other people.
Yeah.
And a lot of games now are like multiplayer.
Yeah.
So like you don't go into a Call of Duty campaign and do a bunch of buttons and you get like rocket launchers.
Can we like out you here and tell about the cheat code that you have for Madden that you used a couple of years ago?
No, the 4 verts cheat code?
4 verts, yeah.
No, it's not cheat code. That's what I play.
Dr.
I always do the same.
Well, you run 4 verts all the time?
4 verts and then slants. Like I do like the same 2 or 3 plays every time. But they can't stop it. So
you don't run the ball ever?
Not too much. I do a little bit more now, but no, playing against Isaac and Justin and Calvin, I would do 4 verts.
Yeah.
Even when we did an NCAA Dynasty, I remember I drafted. The last name was Carter, New Mexico State.
Yeah.
Wow. We all had to pick the lowest. We went to the lowest.
Cowboys.
The MAC conference, right? Wasn't it the MAC or the WAC?
I think it's
MAC. WAC. It was the lowest conference.
I think it's the WAC is how.
And we all had to pick basically the worst teams in the NCAA, and bring them up. And I had this one guy. He was something. I think his last name was Carter. He was a wide receiver. Dude, he almost every play I would run 4 verts and just throw a bomb to him because he had like 98 speed and no one could. If it was man coverage, he beat every single cornerback that was on him. And it ends up he got into like Heisman contention. His numbers were like stupid, like it was video game numbers, and he lost like a quarterback, of course. And I was like, that's dumb because it's always a quarterback that wins.
That's funny,
Heisman. Dude. But yeah, it was that's like a weird tangent.
Yeah, that was back to Pixar.
Toy Story.
Toy Story.
Yeah.
Toy Story is a perfect. Like, Toy Story is a perfect franchise, and I think, like, that's the blueprint that, like, any studio would want to build a franchise out of is Toy Story. Toy Story is, like, the most recognizable modern-day Disney franchise, too.
Have I ever told you guys about, when I was younger, I used to come up with these concepts in my head for a story or, like, a comic or a game or something.
Like Ready Player One.
It is kind of like ripping off a Toy Story. I mean, I won't even lie, but the idea was it's like your toys are alive and they have to hide their identity, their thing, whatever, from you. Mm-hmm. But the idea is the reason why they come alive is because like the monster under your bed or the monster in your closet is like a real thing.
So they're protecting you?
And your toys are your protector. They protect children.
So you need a Toy Story Monsters Inc. crossover.
Kind of, yeah. It's like it's like evil. Like your toys are the reason.
Your toys are like they assigned to you, but you don't know it.
See, I never went that far into. I don't think so. I don't really think so.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, that is a really good idea. I like that.
Yeah, that was a concept I came up with.
I was about to get on the phone with Bob Chapek and be like, we got a new.
I don't know about Bob.
Franchise.
I'm not that good with
Speaking of Monsters Inc., that would be my favorite franchise. Is the Monsters franchise for what I would have alluded to throughout the podcast. In the fact that Monsters University is my favorite Pixar movie. And one of the big reasons, one day I would love to do a video explaining like why I think it's a perfect movie and why I think it's a perfect story. There's a lot to it, but in sort of the same way that why I like Onward so much is it doesn't end the way you think it's supposed to end.
University?
Yeah. They cheat and they lose. and they get a job in the mailroom, where you think they're going to become these great scarers that they are in the first movie. Do you
think they set that up to do like another prequel that like connects it even more?
Isn't there something else, Monsters coming out?
Monsters at Work, but it takes place after Monsters Inc. because it's actually like the laugh floor at this point.
Yeah. Is this a series on Disney Plus?
Yeah, it was supposed to be this fall, but I just saw a couple weeks ago it was pushed to like 2021.
Hey, can I just jump in for a second? Because this is a perfect segment to talk about Black Panther is now on Disney Plus. Just wanted to throw that out there.
I got an email
all
about
over
it.
Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got an email about it. That Black Panther was back up on there. But no, I think Monsters University is like, I love every character. It dives into that world, like whereas like in the first movie, you don't really see much outside of like the plant where they work, or I guess
their apartment's great.
Yeah, where they live.
Yeah,
but this actually like
shook me like a dog, like that guy. Remember with Boo?
Yeah,
so funny.
The campus and everything and all the different characters, like their fraternity brothers. Mm-hmm. I just love every character.
Have you seen Animal House and Revenge of the Nerds?
I've seen Revenge of the Nerds.
Okay, watch Animal House. Hello.
Just getting a call from
no, I was getting a weird buzzing thing.
Oh, I'm not touching the table anymore. Y'all slapped my hand a minute ago.
No, it was just real. It was real quick.
Watch Animal House. That's like a lot of Monsters University is Animal House.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Yeah, I like Monsters University a lot. So Monsters University is your number one Pixar movie. Where would Monsters Inc. rank? I know like you don't have them all set, but is it mid-tier, high-tier? Because I feel like you're so high on Monsters University. Monsters Inc. could be low, but you're like, well, Monsters University pulls Monsters Inc. up.
I would say it's probably top 10, but I would say maybe like 8 or 9.
Okay. Are you putting all the Toy Stories in there though?
Yeah, I would take the entire Toy Story series.
God, Toy Story is just so good.
Before Monsters Inc. I wish I could better explain why I like it so much, but it was the most random thing, dude. It's like
it is funny because you loving Monsters University is kind of like a weird running joke within us.
It's because of Disney Plus, dude. I randomly watched it one night, and I was kind of like working on editing or something. I don't even remember. But I found myself, I'm like, I freaking love this movie. And dude, I'm not even joking. I've probably watched it 10 times since it's been on Disney Plus. I turned it on at least once a week.
Isaac's watched Black Panther 10 times.
Yeah, I was about to say, the thing we watch to get the kid to go to sleep, Monsters University.
Wow.
We get to the point where he's at college.
Especially for a kid.
Like every time?
Every time.
For a kid, I would not
That's
disagree.
Like 5 minutes in.
That it's probably one of the more boring movies.
Well, it's like kind of slice of life in a way, but it's eventful.
Man, I don't know, man. I love it.
Mike Wazowski's like Billy Crystal being this like
Don
really
Carrollton sales.
Like Billy Crystal being this really like uppity, just like excited and like positive. Like I do love that character of his.
I mean, what it is, dude, it's a story that's like, you know what?
Dude, Randall with like wearing the glasses or whatever, and he's like, take them off. You you look better without glasses or whatever. Yeah. Because he can't blend in as well, and then he like squints and is like, that's the watching Randall's fall throughout Monsters University is really fun.
Right. I love the fraternity brothers.
Yeah.
The Roar, Omega Roars, the other guys, you know.
Yeah.
I like that little crab guy that's like, it's Bobby Moynihan from Saturday Night Live.
Is it really him?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I love it, dude. Love that movie. One day I'm going to make a video like detailing why I love it so much.
Why Monsters University is a perfect movie.
And one day we'll finish it.
One day.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Have you never watched it all the way through?
We've watched it all the way through, but I don't know if the kids made it all the way through.
Yeah.
That's it? Are we done?
I think that's it. That's all of them.
That's all the movies that you should watch.
Watch Coco.
This weekend. Watch them all. And be sure to let us... Dude, I keep getting a weird noise in my headphones.
Well, let's go ahead and end this.
Your inner voice.
Let's go ahead and end this.
Let's end this. Yeah. That sounds really dark.
Let's get it over with.
Isaac pulls one gun out from underneath the table with one bullet.
Hey, you know
leaves
what?
the room.
Dude, it feels so refreshing to be on this side of the camera.
I want to thank Isaac for being here this week. Isaac, another round of applause.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's good to have you back, and I'm sure you'll be back at least 2 more times.
Is that what the contract? Are we going to extend it? Can we talk about that?
That is pending further.
Okay.
Yeah.
For those
more field work?
There's an option clause.
Yeah. exactly.
So,
well, I guess we should end the show
instead of we're going to Yemen, we're going to Wuhan.
Yeah,
like,
going to Italy.
Going to Wuhan. Going to Italy.
Let's end the show by saying, be sure to drop us a line either in the comments below or by hitting us up on Twitter using the hashtag TMTS. Let us know what your favorite Pixar movies are. We'd love to hear it.
We would. Also, you can go ahead and get a hold of us on Twitter at PlayAlotta, at Isaac Remak, at Dunk Butler, or at TMTS Pod. Are you still looking on there at all, or do you still log into it?
You still tweet?
Okay.
I can.
Should I just get rid of that account?
I mean, you probably should.
Okay. At PlayAlotta, at Isaac Remak, at Dunk Butler.
That's us.
That's us.
Hashtag using TMTS. Be sure to subscribe to the audio podcast on iTunes. Spotify. Now on Spotify officially.
Now on Spotify.
Spotify's
What are the other options?
Number one.
What are the other options?
Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, Apple.
And always also...
So 2 platform exclusives and 2 that you can do either. So if you have it on something else or you want on something else...
Or you could always watch us on the Heroshot Media YouTube channel. That about wraps it up, fellas. I guess... you know what?
To infinity and beyond.
To infinity and beyond infinity.
Nope.
Because you know what? We love you.
Oh.
We love you as a listener and also as a friend, if I'm being honest.
Oh, wow.
You're part of this friendship group for now until the land of before time.
What? That's not a Pixar movie.
That's not a Pixar movie. We love you until...
We're going to end this. We're going to cut this right now.
Until all the balloons pop on the up house.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and cut this feed.
Until infinity... No. What's... Okay. All right. We'll see you next week, guys. See ya. Bye.